Hello, and welcome to OCPL Presents Shakespeare Unstaged, and this is show number 7, Lucky 7. And we're going to have a great show for you today. As soon as I can figure out how to make my screen smaller, because one of our actors just messed me up. I'm not going to say who it was. So my announcements come first. So we have, of course, Love's Labor's Lost is #1 topic for Syracuse Shakespeare in the Park this week, because we open tomorrow at 5:30 and we run Friday, Saturday, 5:30, Sunday at 2 for this weekend and next weekend. So get your tickets at ticketleap.com or go to the SSITP website and you can get tickets. You can make donations to the actors. You can do all sorts of beautiful things at our website and at ticketleap.com. Now, I am going to share with you the playbill so that I can show you some of the things that you get in our delightful playbill. Now, let me get this up for you. And here we go. And there it is. And that's the cover, which is, of course, is the same as our poster. But then we have a little note from the boards, a picture from last year. There's the cast, including a cool picture of Derek Powell, who's playing Barone. That's his headshot picture. It's a great shot. Then we have our production team. You see Basil Allen, who's the director of the show. That's his picture from last year's Richard III show. Alyssa is there, and then we have Jim on the next page, and now there are all the cast credits in alphabetical order. And then we have, there's Kassy, woohoo, and Jason, and Chelsea, and Mike King. And then on page 8 is our friends page, and that allows you to become a friend of Syracuse Shakespeare in the Park at many different levels, and you decide which one. The next page, page 9, is a great page because it gives you a synopsis of the show. The show is very fast moving and has much comedy, but it also has plot points going on. So it's good if you want to keep up with what's going on. Page 9 is your page to go to. Page 10 has the program notes by Ashley O'Mara, who's the assistant director and also the dramaturge for the show. And it's a great piece. Can't read it now, but boy, it's really good. And then all our show sponsors are there. We have 14 of them, including Onondaga County Public Library. Give them a little plug. And then the last page is our it's our audience survey form. And that now is online as well in a Google form that you can fill out. So that's what we have for you. And I think I'm finished my time exactly on time. And now I'm going to throw it over to Cara. Cara, are you ready?
Yep. Hey,
Tell
everybody.
us about OCPL.
So just to know, I think the first 30 seconds of the stream got cut off, but we are live now. So just so you know, you can catch the full video. It'll be on Shakespeare in the Park's YouTube page. So if you just want to make sure you didn't miss anything, check that tomorrow. So OCPL update, we have library takeout available. So you can place an order online and you can pick up at the city libraries and a few of the suburban libraries. More suburban libraries will be getting on the takeout program next week. And I also wanted to share some of the book lists that we've been creating. As we all know, there is civil unrest and protests happening all over the country against police brutality. And we think it's really important to understand the historical context that is behind all of this. So we worked with all of our librarians to create a really extensive book list that is grouped by age and genre. That is on syracuse.com. It is under the living section. It is more than 80 titles. So the reason we wanted to do so many is because there's a lot of waits for some of the really popular ones. So we really suggest you check out that book list because there might be some titles you're not as familiar with that you don't have to wait for. A lot of them are available on Hoopla and Overdrive, so you can check them out instantly on your smart device, your phone. If you are curious about some other book lists, we have posted an adult book list to our Facebook timeline this morning. We'll be posting a children and teen book list tomorrow morning to our timeline, so stay tuned for that. Again, it's just so important that we discuss the context and understand why this is happening right now. So we really encourage you to pick a book and start reading and talk to your friends and your family about it. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Cara. Now we move on to our first act. Yes, let's give her some snaps. Come on, snap it up. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're moving on to our first group of players today, and I'm very happy to say it's from Love's Labor's Lost. And I saw the show online last night on the Facebook page, and it was fabulous. So make sure you go see it. We have John Triana and Kassy Melendez Ramirez, starring in Act 2, Scene 1 of Love's Labor's Lost, and I'm calling it The Princess Comes to Navarre. Take it away.
Fair Princess, welcome to the court of Navarre.
There, I give you back again. And the welcome I have not yet. The roof of this court is too high to be yours, and welcome to the wide fields too base to be mine.
You shall be welcome, madam, to my court.
Oh, I will be welcome then. Conduct me thither.
Hear me, dear lady. I have sworn an oath.
Our Lady help our Lord, he'll be forsworn. 'Tis deadly sin to keep that oath, my lord, and sin to break it. But pardon me, I am too sudden bold to teach a teacher ill beseemeth me. Vouchsafe to read the purpose of my coming, and suddenly resolve me in my suit.
I will, if suddenly I may.
You will the sooner that I were away, for you'll prove perjured if you make me stay.
Madam, your father here doth intimate the payment of 100,000 crowns, being but the 1/2 of an entire sum dispersed by my father in his wars. If then the king your father will restore but that 1/2 which is unsatisfied, we will give up our right in Aquitaine and hold fair friendship with his majesty. But that, it seems, he little purposeth. For here he doth demand to have repaid 100,000 crowns, and not demands on payment of 100,000 crowns to have his title live in Aquitaine. Dear princess, were not his request so far from reason's yielding, your fair self should make a yielding get some reason in my breast and go well satisfied to France again.
You do the king, my father, too much wrong, and wrong to reputation of your name, and so unseeming to confess receipt of that which hath so faithfully been paid.
I do protest I never heard of it, and if you prove it, I'll repay it back or yield up Aquitaine. Meantime, receive such welcome at my hand as honor, without breach of honor, may make tender of to thy true worthiness. You may not come, fair princess, in my gates, but here without, you shall be so received as you shall deem yourself lodged in my heart. Tomorrow shall we visit you again.
Sweet health and fair desires consort your grace.
Thy own wish I thee in every place.
Thank you so much. Don't forget to go see the show tomorrow night. 5:30 is opening night. So now we're moving on to Henry V, Act 2, Scene 4. We have Tony Brown and S.Moody and Dominic Dicaprio playing the parts of Henry V, the King of France, the Duke of Exeter, and the Dauphin. So I'm calling it The Bitter Mock. Take it away, gentlemen.
From our brother of England?
From him. And thus he greets your majesty. He wills you in the name of God Almighty that you divest yourself and lay apart the borrowed glories that by gift of heaven, by law of nation and of nations, longs to him and to his heirs, namely the crown, and all wide stretched honours that pertain by custom and the ordinance of times unto the crown of France. That you may know, 'tis no sinister nor no awkward claim picked from the wormholes of long-vanished days, nor from the dust of old oblivion raked. He sends you this most memorable line. In every branch, truly demonstrative, willing you overlook this pedigree, and when you find him evenly derived from his most famed of famous ancestors, Edward III, he bid you then resign your crown and kingdom, indirectly held from him, the native and true challenger.
Or else what follows?
Bloody constraint. Or if you hide the crown, even in your house, there will he rake for it. Therefore, in fierce tempest is he coming, in thunder and in earthquake like a Jove, that if requiring fail, he will compel, and bid you, in the bowels of the Lord, deliver up the crown, and to take mercy on the poor souls for whom this hungry war opens his vasty jaws. And on your head, turning the widow's tears, the orphan's cries, the dead man's blood, the prived maiden's groans for husbands, fathers, and betrothed lovers that shall be swallowed in this controversy. This is his claim, his threatening, and my message. Unless the Dauphin be in presence here, to whom expressly I bring greeting too.
For us, we will consider this further. Tomorrow shall you bear our full intent back to our brothers of England.
The Dauphin, I stand here for him. What do him from England?
Scorn and defiance, slight regard, contempt, and anything that may not misbecome the mighty sender doth he prize you at. Thus, says my king, and if your father's highness do not, in grant of all demands at large, sweeten the bitter mock you sent his majesty, he'll call you to so hot an answer for it that caves and woomy voltages of France shall chide your trespass, and return your mock in second accent of his ordinance.
Say, if my father render fair return, it is against my will, for I fear nothing but odds with England. To that end, as matching to his youth and vanity, I did present him with the Paris balls.
He'll make your Paris Louvre shake for it. We're at the mistress court of mighty Europe, and be assured you'll find a difference, as we his subjects have in wonder found, between the promise of his greener days and these he masters now. Now he weighs time even to the utmost grain. That you shall read in your losses if he stays in France.
Tomorrow shall you know our mind at full.
Dispatch us with all speed, lest that our king come here himself to question our delay, for he is footed in this land already.
Oh, you shall be soon dispatched with fair conditions. A night is all breath and little pause to answer matters of this consequence.
Thank you so much. Nice job, gentlemen. And
Yep.
we're moving on to the first of our 2 Romeo and Juliet scenes. And this one stars Samuel Tamburo, Act 3, Scene 5. This is Lord Capulet talking to his daughter, Juliet. A very famous scene. Take it away, Sam.
God's bread, it makes me mad. Day, night, hour, time, tide, alone, in company, and still my care hath been to have her wed. And now having found a gentleman of noble parentage, of good demesnes, youthful and nobly trained, proportioned as one's hopes would wish a man, stuffed, as they would say, with honorable parts, and then to have a wretched, puling fool, a whining mammet, in her fortune's tender to answer, "I'll not wed, I cannot love, I am too young, I pray you pardon me." And you will not wed, I'll pardon you. Graze where you will, you shall not house with me. Look to it, think on it, I do not use to jest. Thursday is near, lay hand on heart, advise, and you be mine, I'll give you to my friend, and you be not, hang, beg, starve, die in the streets, for by my soul I'll ne'er acknowledge thee, nor what is mine shall never do thee good. Trust to it, think on it, I do not use to jest.
Thank you, Sam. And now we're moving on to Tony Brown solo, Sonnet 65, Love is a Babe. Oh, that's the wrong one, sorry. The Miracle Has Might. Yes, sorry. Wrong introduction. Go ahead, Tony.
Which one am I doing?
65, LXV.
Okay. Since brass, nor stone, no earth, nor boundless sea, but sad morality o'ersway their powers, how with this rage shall beauty hold a plea, whose action is no stronger than a flower? Oh, how shall summer's honey breath hold out against this wreckful siege of battering days, when rocks impregnable are not so stout, nor gates so still so strong, but time decays. Oh, fearful meditation, where, alack, shall time's best jewels from time's chest lie hid? Or who is spoiled? Who is strong hands could hold his wit foot back? Or who is his spoil of beauty can forbid? Oh, none, unless this miracle have might, that in black my ink, my love may still shine bright.
Thank you, Tony Brown. Now we're going to move on to the second scene of Romeo and Juliet. And this is I'm Up. It's Act 3, Scene 3. And this is Friar Lawrence's answer to Romeo when Romeo threatens to kill himself.
I'll try to restrain myself, Ronnie.
Thank you, Simon. Hold thy desperate hand. Art thou a man? Thy form cries out thou art. Thy tears are womanish. Thy wild acts denote the unreasonable fury of a beast, unseemly woman in a seeming man, or ill-beseeming beast in seeming both. Thou hast amazed me. By my holy order, I thought thy disposition better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself and stay thy lady too that lives in thee by doing damned hate upon thyself? Why railest thou on thy birth, the heaven and earth? Since birth and heaven and earth all three do meet in thee at once, which thou at once would lose. Fie, thou shamest thy shape, thy love, thy wit, which like a usurer aboundest in all, and usest none in that use indeed, which should but deck thy shape, thy love, thy wit. A noble shape is but a form of wax, digressing from the valor of a man. Thy dear love sworn but hollow perjury, killing that love which thou hast vowed to cherish. Thy wit, that ornament to shape and love misshapen in the conduct of them both, like powder is a skitless soldier's flask, is set afire by thine own ignorance, and thou dismembered with thine own defense. What? Rouse thee, man. thy Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewest Tybalt. There art thou happy too. The law that threatened death becomes thy friend and turns it to exile. There art thou happy. A pack of blessings light upon thy back. Happiness courts thee in her best array, but like a misbehaved and sullen wench, thou poutest upon thy fortune and thy love. Take heed, for such die miserable. Go get thee to thy love as was decreed, ascend her chamber, hence, and comfort her. But look thou, stay not till the watch be set, for then thou canst not pass to Mantua, where thou shalt live till we can find a time to blaze your marriage, reconcile your friends, beg pardon of the prince, and call thee back with 20,000 times more joy than thou wentst forth in lamentation. Go before, nurse, commend me to thy lady, and bid her hasten all the house to bed, which heavy sorrow makes them apt unto. Romeo is coming. Thank you. And now we move on to the Tempest. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. Something messed up here. It's my fault. Tempest is next, and that is starring Ann Childress, Act 3, Scene 3. She's doing Ariel's speech, which I am calling Ariel's magic. Go ahead, Ann.
You are 3 men of sin, whom destiny hath to instrument this lower world and what is in it. The never-surfeited sea hath caused to belch up you. And on this island, where man doth not inhabit, you amongst men, being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. And even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate, the elements of whom your swords are tempered. May as well wound the loud winds, or with bemocked at stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dial that's in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strength and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you 3 from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea, which hath bequited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, but not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures, against your peace. Thee of thy son, Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once. Shall step by step attend you in your ways, whose wrath to guard you from, which here, in this most desolate isle, else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart sorrow and a clear life ensuing.
Thank you, Ann. Nicely done. Now we turn back to Tony Brown for one more sonnet. This one is called Love is a Babe, and it's sonnet 115. Mr. Brown, take it away.
Those lines that I before have writ do lie, even those that said I could not love you dearer. Yet, then my judgment knew no reason why my most full flame should afterwards burn clearer. but reckoning time, whose million accidents creep in twixt vows and change decrees of kings, tan sacred beauties, blunt the shapeless intent, divert most minds of the course of altering things. Alas, why, fearing of time's tyranny, might I not then say, none I love you best, when I was certain, or in certainty, crowning the present, doubting of the rest. Love is a babe, then might I not say so, to give full growth to that which still doth grow.
Thank you, Tony Brown.
Thank you.
And now we're on to our last scene. And this one is Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 4. We have Polonius, Hamlet, and Queen Gertrude. This is the famous bedroom scene. And we have Dominic, Dicaprio, myself, and Maggie Ariotti. Maggie, you have to unmute yourself, dear. Okay, I did it. Yeah, we're good. No, now you're muted again, dear.
Can you hear me?
You good? Yes, you're good.
There we go.
Okay, here we go. And take it away, Dominic.
He will come straight. Look you lay home to him. Tell him that his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me even here. Pray you'll be round with him.
I'll warrant you. Fear me not. Withdraw. I hear him coming.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet,
Mother?
thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come and sit you down, you shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass, where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help! Ho!
What ho? Help! Help!
Oh no, a rat! Dead for a ducat, dead!
Oh, I am slain!
What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
What a rash and bloody act is this?
A bloody deed, almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, it was my word. Thou wretched rash, intruding fool, farewell, I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou find'st to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down, and let me wring your heart. For so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom have not brazed it so that it is proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love, and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicers' oaths. Oh, such a deed as from the body of contraction plucks the very soul, and sweet religion makes a rhapsody of words. Heaven's face doth glow, yea, This solidity and compound mass with tristful village as against the doom is thought sick at the act.
Ah me, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here upon this picture and on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself, an eye like Mars to threaten and command, a station like the herald Mercury new lighted on a heaven-kissing hill. A combination and a form where every god did seem to set his seal, to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ha! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love, for at your age the heyday in the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Sense sure you have, else could you not have motion. But sure that sense is apoplexed, for madness would not err, nor sense to ecstasy was ne'er so thralled, but it reserves some quantity of choice to serve in such a difference. What devil was it that thus has cozened you at hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope. Oh, shame, where is thy blush? Rebellious hell, if thou canst mutine in a matron's bones, to flaming youth let virtue be as wax and melt her in her own fire. Proclaim no shame when the compulsive ardor gives the charge, since frost itself as actively doth burn, and reason panders will.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st my eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their taint.
Nay, but to leave in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings, a cutpurse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more.
Thank you. Thank you, one and all. And we're a little bit over, but boy, it was worth it, right? Okay. So thank you very much for joining us for this show. And make sure to join us next week. And players, make sure to send in the pieces that you want to do for next week's show. And I think we're out of here. That's it. Have a great time.
Bye. Thank you, everybody.
Woohoo! Bye-bye.
Bye.